Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly felt like everyone was looking at you? Maybe you tripped over your words during a conversation. Maybe you wore something different than usual. Or maybe you made a small mistake in public that kept replaying in your mind for hours afterward. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, there's a fascinating psychological phenomenon that explains exactly why this happens. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect. The spotlight effect is a cognitive bias that makes us believe we're being noticed far more than we actually are. It's as if our brain places a giant spotlight over our head and convinces us that everyone around us is paying attention to every little detail. Think about the last time you felt embarrassed in public. Maybe you spilled a drink, mispronounced a word, or wore an outfit you weren't completely confident about. At that moment, it probably felt like everyone noticed. But here's the surprising truth. Most people are far too busy thinking about themselves. They're worried about how they look. They're thinking about their own problems, their own responsibilities, and even their own embarrassing moments. In other words, they're not focused on you. They're focused on themselves. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Researchers once conducted an experiment where participants were asked to wear an embarrassing t-shirt into a room filled with strangers. Before entering the room, the participants predicted that a large percentage of people would notice the shirt. But when the researchers later asked the people in the room about it, far fewer had noticed than the participants expected. The participants had dramatically overestimated how much attention they were receiving. And that's exactly what the spotlight effect does. It tricks us into believing that our mistakes, flaws, and awkward moments are being carefully observed by everyone around us. When in reality, most people either don't notice at all or forget about it almost immediately. So the next time you're worried about something embarrassing that happened, remember this. The spotlight you're feeling is mostly inside your own mind. People aren't watching you nearly as much as you think. And once you realize that, life becomes a little easier, a little lighter, and a lot less stressful. Have you ever experienced the spotlight effect? Let me know in the comments.